Hey everyone, welcome back to Channel Name. Today, we're diving into a fiery showdown that's shaking up the political world. Bill Maher versus Al Gore, Nazis, and the dangerous game of hyperbole in politics. You won't believe what Maher just said about Trump, Hitler, and the left's obsession with fear-mongering. Stick around because this one's a roller coaster. All right, folks, let's get right into it. You've probably heard the wildest political comparisons lately. Some folks are throwing around the Hitler label like it's a badge of honor or a cheap shot. But here's the truth. Comparing Donald Trump, or any modern figure, to Hitler isn't just hyperbole. It's a serious misstep. Enter Bill Maher, the outspoken comedian and commentator known for calling out both sides of the aisle. Recently, he stepped into the firestorm of debate with a clear message. You cannot and should not compare anyone to Hitler without doing a grave disservice to the millions who suffered under his reign. Maher made it perfectly clear. Hitler is in a league of his own when it comes to evil, and casual comparisons are not only disrespectful, they're dangerous. In his own words, Maher warns that these kinds of comparisons trivialize the horrors of the Holocaust and risk undermining the very moral gravity of history's worst atrocities. It's a shortcut that undermines honest debate and fuels the polarization we're all trying to navigate. So buckle up, because this isn't just about politics. It's about respecting history and understanding the dangerous power of hyperbole. Bill Maher is emphasizing a crucial point that often gets overlooked in today's heated political climate. We ignore the warning signs from history at our own peril. Throughout history, the rise of dictatorship has always started subtly. Leaders begin by trying to control what people think, attempting to dictate opinions and consolidating power in ways that might seem harmless at first, but quickly spiral out of control. Maher points out that the early signs are clear and should not be ignored. When a leader starts pushing Congress around, undermining the judiciary, and trying to expand their authority beyond constitutional limits, those are red flags. These are the warning signals that history has shown us time and again lead to authoritarian rule. Ignoring these signs doesn't make them go away. It makes us complicit in the danger. But here's where Maher's message hits even harder. Many on the left, and even some in the media, still see Donald Trump as the ultimate villain, an evil figure comparable to historical monsters. While there's no doubt that Trump has his flaws and controversies, Maher warns that demonizing half the country because of their political beliefs fuels deep division and hate. It creates an us versus them mentality that makes constructive dialogue impossible. He's essentially saying, you're not winning hearts and minds by calling everyone a Nazi or a fascist. And honestly, he has a point. When political debates devolve into name-calling and branding large groups as enemies, it only entrenches the divide. It's a shortcut that prevents us from understanding each other's perspectives and risks pushing the country further into polarization. Maher advocates for a more level-headed approach, recognizing the warning signs of authoritarianism without losing sight of the fact that, at the end of the day, we're all Americans who deserve respect and honest discourse. Now, things are about to get spicy. Bill Maher recently hosted a special guest on his show, none other than Al Gore, the former vice president and climate change advocate. You might think this would be a calm discussion, but no, Maher didn't hold back. From the moment Gore launched into his usual climate alarmist spiel, Maher was quick to challenge him. Gore, still deeply immersed in his narrative about climate crisis and global urgency, took a surprising turn. He dropped the Nazi card, hinting at the dangers of fascism and authoritarianism. Subtlety, apparently, is dead in today's political discourse. But Maher, ever the blunt realist, rolled his eyes and pushed back hard. He told Gore, "Listen, the days of shouting fascist and winning are over." Maher made a crucial point. Millions of Americans voted for Trump not because they are Nazis or fascists, but because they're fed up with what they see as condescending, elitist narratives from the political and media establishment. They're tired of being talked down to and dismissed as ignorant or dangerous. Maher's core message? Call out dangerous ideologies when you see them, but don't dehumanize half the country in the process. Because when you do that, when you paint everyone with the same brush, you're playing a dangerous game. It's political suicide, he argues. You can't win hearts and minds by branding your opponents as enemies or monsters. Instead, Maher advocates for a more nuanced, honest approach, calling out issues without losing sight of the human beings behind the votes. And here's the real kicker. Bill Maher is not afraid to call out the lazy and destructive habit of comparing political figures to Hitler. He's seen this happen before, with many rushing to equate Trump to the Nazi dictator, often as a way to demonize him and stir the pot. But Maher doesn't buy into that hyperbole. In fact, he took a firm stand when his friend, comedian Larry David, crossed that line by comparing Trump to Hitler. Maher didn't let that slide. He explained that Hitler belongs in a category of his own, a level of evil that shouldn't be used lightly or casually invoked in political debate. Maher emphasized that Hitler's atrocities, his role in the Holocaust, genocide, and the unimaginable cruelty he inflicted, are not just hyperbolic labels to toss around for shock value. They are historical facts that demand respect and seriousness. To trivialize the Holocaust or compare political opponents to Hitler just for rhetorical effect isn't just disrespectful, it's dangerous. He made it clear, Hitler is the goat of evil, a terrible singular figure in human history whose actions should be remembered with reverence and caution. Maher's message? We must keep this in mind. Overusing or misusing such comparisons diminishes their meaning and risks normalizing dangerous rhetoric. It's a reminder that some words and labels carry the weight of history, and we should handle them responsibly. So what's really at stake in all this? Bill Maher makes a compelling point. The relentless cycle of fear-mongering, false narratives, and the demonization of Donald Trump and his supporters has only served to deepen the political and social divide in the country. Instead of fostering understanding or seeking real solutions, many on the left seem to be feeding hysteria, stoking fears of authoritarianism, fascism, or collapse, hoping that such narratives will help them win elections. But here's the catch, it often backfires. Instead of uniting the country or persuading voters, it pushes more Americans to the other side, feeling dismissed, alienated, and mistrustful. Maher argues that this approach is short-sighted and ultimately destructive. It's a strategy that sacrifices genuine dialogue and progress for short-term political gains. What's needed instead is honesty, an open, fact-based conversation that recognizes the complexities of the issues and the humanity of all Americans. He's calling for a return to real dialogue, one rooted in facts, mutual respect, and understanding, because the future of the country depends on it. If Americans are to find common ground and move forward, political leaders and media figures must prioritize truth over hysteria and polarization. Only then can we hope to bridge the divide and build a more united, resilient nation.